Means it is all right. Here we go. Piedmont Airlines.
Oh, here we go. Do.
Been a mad rush today.
I bet.
Especially trying to get home in very unhelpful roads.
Biblical scenes, I think, is the word you're looking for.
It was mad. I ended up messaging James about 2 or 3 times during the course of my journey home because the roads were just. I mean, I'm glad the Jeep has such a high ride height.
Yeah.
It sits quite higher than most cars. The Jeep does, so it's a lot easier to tackle. But bottom of Billingford Hill was starting to fill up lovely when I came through.
Was it? Oh gosh, hasn't filled up for a while.
No, they sorted the drainage out on there, but I don't think that could cope.
No,
at all,
because it happened quite regularly, didn't it? And then they sorted it all out, and it sort of stopped. But nice. Which way do you go? Do you go all the back roads, or do you just go into?
I go to across the golf course roundabout. See if you're heading to Bury, turn right over the railway crossing, a back way into Dis, come out near the fish and chip shop, turn left.
Oh right, yeah, and go out that way.
And then up the South Lopton, veer right.
Yeah.
As you come into South Lopton, and then up.
Yeah.
And
I used to go through Starston and out through the Pullums and stuff the way James
Yeah,
goes,
I used to go that, but
I know,
the road is awful.
It is, yeah. And it actually takes you no more time to go on the better roads, you know.
Nope.
So indeed. So although it's a bit further, it's actually the same travel time.
I had to work out this week.
Oh, it's 2 minutes. So are we good to go, or are we going to wait?
Yeah,
for
we're
Andy?
good to
What's
go.
The
Yeah,
plan?
good to go. Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I had to work out this week for various reasons, but it works out that it is 55.7 miles a day.
Yeah, that's quite high.
I do.
It could be worse.
It equates to a 5-day week, 278.5 miles I do a week.
Not much more than I do going to Dis and back, to be honest with you. It's not a massive difference.
Well, I hope not. It's a lot further, Snetterton. I hope you don't do that many miles. Otherwise, you've got a funny way at Dis.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, 55.7, whatever half of that is. That's how far it is to James's. To Airline.
There we go. Right, 15 seconds to clock. Here we go then. Nev will be proud of us. Look, starting on time.
Right, and just maximise that so I can actually read it. There we go. And boom. There we go. Lovely. That's that written.
Boom.
Right, I think I'm there. Oh, I haven't written that bit in. Oh well. What's the date today? 3rd.
3rd, yeah. 9. Here we go then. Good luck.
7, 6.
We need it.
5, 4, 3.
Good evening and welcome to episode 567 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Carlos, and this week's show, one airline gets fined for taking a dump. One airline offers you free flights, but there is one slight condition. And are we going to see the A360? In the military news this week, the USAF go all Italian, and the second B-21 will soon be with us. So, joining me this week, it's a mini crew this week. He's braved the stormy weather we're currently having here in the UK. Is Matt Smith.
Hello. Yes, not too bad, thank you. I've been at home all the day, so I haven't had to go out other than early doors. And
just as well, you need a canoe.
Yeah, well, yes, quite absolutely, and then back sort of again. I think I was back here by about sort of 11, half 11, something like that. Not as much fun as you've been having, to be fair.
Oh my word, it's been honestly that the rain came down so hard this afternoon whilst I was busy working, and because the unit that we work in has that sort of a corrugated plastic roof.
Yeah.
And you always know when the rain is of biblical proportions because the noise levels come above the stereo system we have playing in the warehouse, which is...
And I've been to that unit, and it's not quiet in there, is it? No. The rain was falling that hard. It was like, I can't hear the radio. I know, absolutely.
My word.
Indeed.
But it's safe to say, I mean, let's be honest, we do need some rain.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. It's the wrong type of rain, isn't it? Because it's come down so fast that essentially it's not going to soak into the ground and all that kind of thing. It's just basically bounced off everything and started flooding everything. But,
I know.
There we go.
It's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Thank goodness it wasn't like this on Saturday.
Oh,
well,
no.
Not earlier, anyway. Well, it was, but once you'd gone, it was absolutely horrendous. I'm not going to lie. We got very, very wet. But
I was going to say it was a fantastic. As Matt says there, we had an awesome weekend this weekend. We had our meet up at Beccles Airfield, and we had some long distance friends of the show join us. Tanya, who's in the chat room this evening, Tanya flew all the way from New York to join us, which was absolutely incredible. Thank you, Tanya, for that. And also John Jester, our very own cargo captain, came and joined us all the way from Amsterdam, flew in from Schiphol. Into London Norwich Airport on Saturday morning. We had, and also Sturman, he came and said hello as well. And who else did we have there, Matt? We had Nev and Mrs. Nev there had join us as well, didn't we? Which is lovely to see them, as always. Yeah. And a few members of the airfield who have got to know us quite well now because we've been back there a few times. But we had some lovely food.
We did,
which was absolutely awesome. And and Tanya also got the chance to. She went and took a flight, didn't she, with Captain Al?
Oh, did she?
Captain Al flew in.
Yeah, I sort of missed all that. So
missed that.
I
Captain
was quite
Al.
Late. Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Al flew in. He joined us in his PA-28 and managed to grab Tanya and take her up for a little flight over East Anglia, which is quite nice for Tanya. She really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I bet.
But
it's a beautiful landscape, isn't it? There's no two ways about it.
It is. We have got some pictures from the weekend, but it has been... To put it quite simply, it's been a mad rush to get everything ready for tonight's show. But we have got some pictures. We'll try and get them out to you probably next week's show. I think we'll put them all together and show you next week some of the pictures we took from the weekend. But it was a really good weekend. Thanks again to Tanya for flying over and joining us. Do you know she flew home on an Airbus A350, Matt, on a Virgin Atlantic or Virgin Airways?
Nice. Yes.
A350.
Who did you fly out with? Was it Virgin as well, or was it something?
Yeah, Virgin as well. Yeah, she flew over on the Dreamliner Dash 9 and flew home on the 350, which she was really excited about because her first time in a 350. So it's very good. And John, I think John flew back to Amsterdam on an Embraer 175, I think, or 195.
Right,
one of those ones from Norwich.
An Embraer.
But, yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
little jungle
hop,
jet,
as it were. Yeah,
little hop.
absolutely.
Yeah. But I did get the chance though. I was so glad when I grabbed John from Norwich Airport and grabbed Tanya from the train station here. I managed to squeeze in, and I'll tell you what, Matt, we have never walked around a museum so quick.
Really,
I managed to get them for a complete tour of the Flixton Aviation Museum just down the road here from us, and we had a little walk around there. And I'll tell you what, the weather was beautiful. It was such a nice weather as well. So,
Gosh, okay.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, as we're missing an Andy. Andy hopefully will be joining us soon. Fingers crossed. Nev is on holiday for a few weeks. He's sunning his bits in Gran Canaria.
Oh.
He's got his budgie smugglers on. He's
Nice.
yes. He's getting a good tan, hopefully. Actually, he did send us some pictures, didn't he, Matt? In the group chat, and that the weather looked awful.
Yeah.
Where Nev is.
Didn't it? Yes, it looked absolutely terrible. Yeah.
Yes. But thanks for everyone who joined us in the chat room tonight. Let's have a quick whiz down the list here, shall we? Let's go Hobby Time. He's in there. Mazus, hello to you. Captain Cruz. Must be a Wednesday when a toy plane appears on the YouTube feed. Like that. David Cummings, hello to you. And we've got Darren Smith. Evening, boys and girls. He said, ready for some planes. You'll get plenty of those tonight. Tanya's in there, our guest from the weekend. Hello, Tanya. Dirk S is in the chat room as well. Bill, hello, Bill. Good to see you in there. Kevin Wallander, hello to Kevin. Jason Trussell, hello to you, Jason. John Jester, our guest from the weekend. He's also keeping an eye on things in there as well. Alan White, our good friend over in Ireland, Alan White, he's in the chat room as well. The lovely Masha is in there. She's got her umbrella up in the chat room, Matt. Probably a good idea.
Yeah, very wise, yeah.
Richard Adams, hello to you. Beer in hand. Richard Adams has
Correct
got
answer,
good idea.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I want a beer now. Sturman, hello to you.
Are you on rations then? Are you...
Well, no, I literally rushed in here. I've not eaten,
right. Oh,
not
okay.
eaten,
Yeah,
not had any drink. I'm absolutely gasping. And we've just got a message in the group chat, by the way.
Give me 5, Andy says.
Okay.
He's nearly there, yeah.
Give me Andy will be here soon. Don't panic, everyone. Let me make sure I don't miss anyone out. Just scrolling down the list. David John, Darren, David Bone. Hello to David Bone. Good to see you in the chat room. Greetings to you.
Nice.
And John Main says, hi, Carlos. Hi, everyone. Hello to John Main. Thanks for joining us in the chat room. And thanks to everyone for tuning in this evening. And don't forget, if you're listening to us as a YouTube show, the downloaded show on the various podcast download platforms, you can catch us on YouTube every Wednesday night. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when Matt is hopefully pressing the go live button on Wednesdays.
Always.
At around 6:45-ish.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Now, we have got a Retro Airline ad of the week. We've also got a video from Oshkosh with Captain Al to show on the show this week, plus all the news and military news this week. So, Matt,
yes,
just me and you. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
Hello, and the first story this week comes from the independent.co.uk, and Airline agrees to pay $79 million lawsuit after plane dumps fuel on a school.
Oh.
Now, I think we covered this in a previous show last year, or a few years ago. Delta Airlines has agreed to pay $79 million to settle a class action lawsuit following a 2020 incident where one of its aircraft dumped fuel over schools and a residential area near Los Angeles. The settlement addresses the January the 14th incident back in 2020 when a Boeing 777-200 en route from LA to Shanghai experienced engine trouble. Forced to return to LA, the jet released 15,000 gallons of fuel over the densely populated neighborhoods to achieve the safe landing weight required. While the aircraft landed safely, Los Angeles County firefighters were called to schools in the Cody. God, how do you pronounce that? That's a weird one. We need an American on the show. Nearly 60 school children and teachers were examined for minor skin and lung irritations, though none required hospitalization. Shortly after, teachers from Park Avenue Elementary School in Kudai? How would you pronounce that, Matt?
I've not got a clue. I'm the last person on play. Where are we? Teacher said that they sort me. Where are we?
Cuddy?
Somebody will spell it out for us in the chat room.
I don't know.
No doubt.
Anyway.
Kudahai, I would say.
There we go. You heard it there from Matt.
Kuda, as it goes.
They filed a lawsuit against the airline, saying they're exposed to jet fuel that drizzled down like raindrops with overwhelming fumes. They described feeling the fuel on their clothes, skin, and eyes. Later, several of that particular school's homeowners and town's homeowners filed a class action suit. The teachers said they sought medical treatment after the incident and experienced physical and emotional pain. Delta said the lawsuit settlement reached Monday that one of the plane's two engines lost thrust shortly after takeoff, and that the aircraft, which was carrying enough fuel for the 13-hour flight, exceeded its maximum landing weight by around 160,000 pounds. The weight of a full load of fuel carries a risk of damaging the jetliner during landing, which can be expensive for an airline to fix. Even if there isn't damage, airlines try and avoid overweight landings because they are required to inspect planes, which puts them out of service. The pilots decided to dump the fuel to reduce the serious risk of flying and landing in an overweight aircraft on just one engine, and the airline said this in court documents. Delta said in the court documents that it agreed to the settlement without any admission of liability to avoid the legal expense of a trial and to eliminate the distraction and other burdens this litigation has caused Delta's business. I mean, $79 million. It's a fair amount of money.
Yeah, I mean,
is this going to the town? Is this going to the residents of the town?
I would imagine it was. I guess it's the only thing. I mean, is it just going to the people who were affected by the incident? I don't know, which is essentially the majority of the school. But I mean, it won't have only been the school that could have potentially been affected by this. So I don't know. I don't know. It's
I just want to know who gets this money.
But
who gets the money?
I mean, but it's fair. It's fair enough, obviously, if they've gone down this route. But what other option could the pilot have used? You know, is there somewhere else they could have gone to dump the fuel?
Normally they do fly it over the ocean, Matt.
Yeah.
As a rule, but it depends, I suppose, on. I suppose it depends on, with one engine out, whether they would safely be able to fly it over the water, over the sea, and dump this fuel, or whether they chose for safety reasons that they couldn't afford to fly it over the ocean, go round and round and round in circles on an orbit and dump this fuel and then come back. There may have been other reasons why this happened. So Captain Cruz says, still very dumb to dump it over land when water is so close to LAX.
Yeah, fair point.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they could have got nearer to the airport and then and
dumped it over the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still dumping fuel. It's fuel's expensive. They wouldn't do it on a whim. It always has a reason for it.
And of course they were doing that. That in many ways they were doing the right thing, obviously, because the plane must not be overweight when it comes into land. That's fine. I get that. But perhaps we've made the wrong call here in terms of where we did the fuel dumping, as you say. If water is not, I fully appreciate dumping it in the water is not ideal. Because obviously it'll be harmful to marine wildlife and all sorts. So there's nowhere really great to dump the fuel.
John Jester in the chat room says yes, they could have obviously have dumped over the ocean, which you just said. John does point out as well that they could have also climbed to a higher height and it would have dissipated in the air before it ever got anywhere near reaching the floor of the ground.
But is that again a safety concern because you're having to go up higher with only one engine?
Hey, this is where we need the John Jester on here. You see, John says Boeing had no restrictions on landing overweight either. Apparently.
But I get why they made that call. If you see what I mean, not to land overweight, because as you say, it is you've got to make that decision about whether it's going to.
The captain knows best.
Because there's always a risk, of course, in even if the Boeing thing says that there is no, it must be in their manual somewhere, for that particular airline where they're saying you must dump the fuel before you. If you're overweight and stuff. So I get it, but perhaps we made the wrong call as to where we did the dumping on this occasion.
Yes, Well, there's always a wrong and a right place to take a dump.
Yeah, and I guess, again, potentially damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're never going to win, are you? But
there we go.
Indeed. A dodgy decision was made, perhaps.
No, Matt. Right, story number 2. And good news for me in October when I fly Ryanair.
Right, okay. All right, because it's all about you, obviously. Yeah.
Well... we've got a Mr. Wilson joining us. I'm just going to admit him to the.
Okay, and I'll get started on the story. You carry on. Yeah. So lbc.co.uk is the source on this one, and Ryanair set to increase free cabin bag size next month. The budget airline currently allows passengers to bring a small carry-on bag for free with every ticket. The size was capped at 40 centimetres by 20 centimetres by 25 centimetres and a weight of 10 kilograms. However, the size is set to increase from September to 40 centimetres by 30 centimetres by 20 centimetres. This comes as the EU changed carry-on rules, standardising free luggage allowances across the region. The Irish firm is also planning to raise bonuses for its staff who spot passengers attempting to take oversized baggage on flights from €1.50 to €2.50. The airline chief executive Michael O'Leary said that he makes absolutely no apology for catching people who are scamming the system. Speaking at a press conference in central London, Mr. O'Leary told reporters that the carrier will likely raise incentives for gate staff who intercept passengers trying to bring oversized baggage on board from €1.50, which is £1.29 if you're interested, to €2.50, which is £2.16 per bag. That is, by the way, from November. A monthly cap of €80 is also set to be scrapped. Passengers travelling with Ryanair face strict luggage rules with fees of up to £75 for putting an oversized bag in the hold if it's brought to the boarding gate. Mr. O'Leary said that I am still mystified by the number of people with rucksacks who still think they're going to get through the gate and we won't notice the rucksack. We will, and you will be paying for the rucksack. You're not getting on if it doesn't fit. He said around 200,000 passengers per year are charged luggage fees at airport gates, so have more work to do to get rid of them. Well, not sure. It's. I mean, the only reason the initial change here is obviously because they're standardising the sizes throughout Europe, which perhaps is a sensible move, and it is a little bit bigger, isn't it? At least you've got a little bit more room.
Yeah, not a huge amount, but it is slightly bigger.
Yeah, indeed.
I think it's the width which is bigger, not the height. They've changed.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, the problem is with this, it makes it now that the kind of standardised size between, say, EasyJet, Ryanair, and Jet2 was pretty much all the same. So you've got companies who make a carry-on case that fits within 3 different airlines, or 4, even with BA, the 4 different airlines size. Yeah. And then if someone changes their size,
exactly,
then you could always be caught out with a case that you brought that was supposed to be compatible for all airlines. But it's always worth checking. I do now, before I go away anyway. I always check with a little old tape measure and just make sure that what I'm taking out with me is
definitely
regulations.
Yeah. And that's the problem, I think, as well, because it changes so frequently at the moment. So twice now I've bought a bag that will meet with the requirements, and then it's changed the next time I go to do a Ryanair flight.
Welcome to our resident Airbus training captain, pilot extraordinaire, Andy. Hello.
Hello. You'll notice I'm not at home. I'm back in my hotel studio again this week.
Love that for you.
Where I've literally just arrived.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were getting messages from Andy that he was on his way, but the train was being very slow.
It was.
I don't know what's going on that a train would be.
It wasn't great angular. That's why.
No, there is that. Yeah.
No, there was some power cut somewhere or something like that. But I'm here anyway. Nice to be here.
Indeed. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. I've been very busy. I am going flying tomorrow. There's a shock.
What, as in flying, or as a passenger?
No, it was in flying, yes.
Wow, oh, that's exciting. Right. Can you remember how to do it? Sorry.
Oh, yes, I've got 4 flights tomorrow and 4 flights on Friday.
4? Gee whiz.
Yeah, I'm doing 8 flights over the next 2 days just to put my hand back in, you know.
Right, okay.
Oh, my word.
Goodness me. Can you remember where all the airports are? Are you going to be all right?
I think so.
Have you got
I'll
your
be
up-to-date
all right.
sat-nav with you?
Yes. The aeroplane will be up to date, I'm sure.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Blimey.
Well, blimey.
I mean,
God,
you've gone from nothing to
all
full
of the
house,
things.
Andy.
Yeah.
Well, live faster. That's the best way.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. No, can't disagree with you on that one.
Definitely the 320.
Yeah.
Well, as you're with us, Andy, thanks for joining us as always. Good to see you in there. I know you're busy, but you've got the next story lined up just for you, Andy. Look good or interesting to hear your views on
Yes. This is from Reuters, and it's Southwest Airlines begins flying first plane with secondary cockpit barrier. Southwest Airlines began Friday flying its first jet with a secondary barrier to the flight deck designed to prevent intrusions. The plane, a Boeing 737 MAX 8, which was delivered in recent days, took off Friday afternoon from Phoenix to Denver, the airline said. Secondary barriers, long sought after the September the 11th, 2001 attacks that exposed the risk of inadequate flight deck protection, are crucial to aviation safety, pilots' unions have argued. The flight is a milestone that marks the beginning of the rollout of the safety feature across the new US commercial airline fleet in the coming years. Boeing and Airbus told Reuters they have begun delivering aeroplanes with the barriers under the Federal Aviation Administration regulation announced in 2023 that took effect on Monday. Last month, the FAA agreed to give airlines until late July 2026 to put the barriers in newly delivered planes into use. Most major carriers have told the FAA they plan to take advantage of the extension and not immediately begin using the barriers. Southwest has opted to immediately begin complying as they take delivery of new aircraft and expect to take delivery of around 25 additional Boeing aircraft this year that will use the barriers. We felt like we could get it done and put it in production as soon as the aircraft were ready, said Justin Jones, Southwest Executive Vice President for Operations. After the hijacking of 4 US aircraft on September the 11th, the FAA adopted standards for the flight deck security to make them resistant to forcible intrusion and unauthorized entry. The FAA rules requires aircraft manufacturers to install a secondary physical barrier on new aircraft used in commercial passenger service in the United States, but does not require existing aircraft to be retrofitted. Aircraft manufacturers without FAA certification of barriers do not yet need to be in compliance. Well, there we go. I saw a picture of this. I don't know if you had it. I think it's a great idea. It's really good.
Yeah, I did look at the pictures online. I think hopefully Matt's got the photos there of this particular barrier. That's a Brussels Airline A320. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's an interesting feature, Andy. So this forms before the I think it's before the galley, isn't it?
After the galley, yes.
Was it after the galley? Yeah.
So and that will fold out into 2 sections, yeah, as shown there. So it's like a secondary door across that section there to give a secondary barrier, obviously, as it says. And yeah, I think it's good. It's sad that we've had to go down this road, but unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And of course, safety is the number one priority. I quite like the look of that one. That's good. That looks like an Airbus style one, which that would because there's a toilet just to the left of that picture behind that seat, so that would let pilots out without anybody having to guard the door as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That is a good idea.
Do you think this is going to roll out across all airlines across the globe, Andy?
I don't know. Any airline flying into America will have to comply with it, so that'll include the likes of British Airways, Virgin, etc. But let's see. If they start offering it as an option on the airframes for free, see, this is where the issue comes in. If you have to pay for it and it's not required, no airline's going to pay for it. But if it's mandated by regulation, then they have to do it.
That could be a sticking point. Do you want this door? You can have it. It's 15 grand.
Yeah.
Be interesting to know how much they'll charge for these doors.
Yeah, if you're buying 150 aircraft, 15 grand per aircraft's quite a chunk of money. And if you're not mandated to use it, then it's all right.
Yes.
Nice.
Of course, John Jester doesn't have to worry about these particular barriers. Not with his passengers, anyway.
No, that's true.
There. Yeah, he can get away without that one. Yeah, his passengers behave themselves. Next story comes to us from traveltomorrow.com. Ryanair is preparing passengers for the switch to smart boarding passes. Now, this might be one to note if you're travelling with Ryanair in the coming months, as Ryanair prepares for passengers to move to a digital only boarding passes. It is sought to allay customers' concerns over the end of paper printouts. From the 3rd of November this year, to board, passengers will be required to show their boarding passes on the Ryanair app on their smartphone. Can't see this having an issue at all. According to the low-cost carrier, the change will keep prices down as it will eliminate almost all check-in fees, as well as reduce paper waste by an estimated 300 tonnes per year. An added convenience, the airline says, is the ability to push out direct updates from Ryanair's operations centre during disruptions, ensure customers stay informed about their bookings and their flights. A spokesperson for the airline answered fears about the impact of digitalisation on vulnerable customers, such as the older demographic, who can be less e-literate. Passengers who don't have smartphones as well can ask a friend or family member to download their boarding passes for them, as the representative said. Adding one passenger is checked in, they'll be provided assistance at the airport where staff can see if they have checked in. Meanwhile, CEO Michael O'Leary told the Independent Travel podcast between 85 and 90% of passengers show up with their smartphones. Almost 100% of passengers have smartphones, and we want to move everyone onto that smartphone technology. Addressing questions around the shift, O'Leary said the big concern the big concern that people have is what happens if I lose my battery, or what if I lose my phone? Well, losing a phone would be no issue, he's explained. As long as you've checked in before you've got to the airport, we'll reissue a paper boarding pass at the airport. Are you ready? Free of charge.
Cool.
I know, but you have to have checked in online before you go to the airport. He added that if your battery dies or something happens once you've checked in, we'll have your sequence number anyway at the boarding gate, and we'll you'll get on. And he said that nobody should worry about it. The crucial step, according to O'Leary, is just make sure you check in online before you get to the airport, and then all will be fine. Ryanair has long driven customers towards the online process by penalising those who wait until the airport before checking in with an extra fee, which at the time of writing this story is stated on the airline's website as costing an extra €55, except in Austria, where it is €40, and in Spain, €30.
So let me get this right. Right, okay. So if you turn up at the airport and you haven't checked in, currently they'll charge you €55 and give you a paper one, yeah?
Yep.
If you use your computer at home and check in, all right, which takes a couple of seconds, then turn up to the airport because you haven't got an iPhone or a smartphone, then they'll give you a paper one for free. What's the difference?
Yeah.
It's like a 2-second process to check somebody in.
Also, to be fair, it's essentially the same QR code that the system is scanning anyway, whether it be on paper or on the screen on your phone. Yeah. So I don't understand what they're going to gain from this, other than the fact that they can glean all those analytics from the data that your phone is recording, essentially, for all the things that you're doing because of all the wonderful cookies they have on their phone. My big issue with this is Mum does have a smartphone, as an example. She's 72 now, and she won't use them. She always insists on printing out some form of ticket to take with her when she goes, which I completely get that. And I mean, Carlos, you and I, whenever we've travelled before, yes, we've absolutely used our phone, but we've always got a paper copy.
I do
in our bag, just in case. You know, because if you smash your phone screen or whatever, and I know, again, we've all been very awkward. You know, we're usually checked in like the very nanosecond that they let you check in before you go somewhere. So yeah. that I don't have so much of an issue with, and I guess you could argue, like in my case, you know, with Mum, I will have obviously checked her in before she goes and all this kind of thing. But I don't see why we need to do this. I mean, the majority of customers, I'm pretty the majority of customers, I'm pretty sure, are going to be using their phone anyway. They're just having a, I mean, did it say did it give you the stats of how many people are currently using the app anyway?
Yes, it was 85 to 95%, and then the next line he also said almost 100%. So whatever figure you want to pick out of that.
Okay, so we'll say almost 100% are already using the app anyway. So what's the harm in them being able to print themselves out a safety net? I don't
know about you guys, but the thing that I've always found, it doesn't happen every time, but it has happened to me within the last year of traveling. Those scanners that are on the units where you hold your phone on and it scans the QR code or whatever on your phone, they don't always work 100% every time. That isn't the instant you put your phone on the screen on the.
That's because you use an Android phone. That's why.
Oh God! I knew you'd say that.
You haven't got your brightness. It's as simple as that. Your brightness isn't high enough. That's all it is.
Yeah, it needs brightness up.
Yeah.
Because I can I've got an Apple Watch. I can put boarding passes on there.
Yep, same here. And I always download a copy onto my watch as well. As I say, I don't see a problem with them moving to 100% digital. I just do think that you should, I get that you want to be encouraged that, but you should be able to, I do think you should still be allowed to bring a safety net. I think that's an unreasonable step too far, personally.
There's a few in the chat room who said that. There's a few in the chat room who said that paper's it's archaic.
I get it.
I like to have a physical something in my hand.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I say weirdly, they're potentially doing themselves out of some money here if they're not going to let you print it at home. But as long as you've checked in at home, you can have a paper copy printed off for free when they used to charge you £50 for it.
I'm going to go back, Matt, to a comment that Captain Cruz put in the chat room. I just noticed.
Oh, no.
Captain Cruz said, "What was before paper passes? Stone? Chiseled ones?"
Of course, yes. There is that. Indeed.
Try and get that through, through the extra weight.
Absolutely.
Someone actually mentioned something on there about, John Main said, what about watches with printers? That'd be handy, wouldn't it?
A watch with a printer, yeah, but that wouldn't matter. You're not allowed to print them in the first place.
No, you can't press. No. The conversation's moved in the chat room to Nev's budgie smugglers.
Oh, okay. Moving on.
Anyway,
moving on. Move on. Yeah.
Yeah. Next story,
right.
please. Yeah, keen.
So,
keen
Andy,
thank you. Yeah.
Andy, you've got the next story, Andy.
Yeah, I'm glad I haven't had dinner yet.
Yeah.
Now you've just said that. This is from avitrader.com, and Brussels Airline expands fleet with 5 A320neo aircraft. Brussels Airlines has confirmed the addition of 5 brand new Airbus A320neo aircraft to its fleet, totaling the number to 13 of the next-gen aircraft. The investment highlights the airline's commitment to reducing its environmental footprint, improving the passenger experience and pursuing sustainable and profitable growth. Brussels Airlines currently operates 5 A320neo aircraft and is expecting a further 3 to join the fleet in the coming months. The next delivery from the Airbus factory in Toulouse is scheduled for November. The airline is also expanding its long-haul fleet to 13 Airbus A330 aircraft, and from 2027 will introduce new cabins across its intercontinental network. The airline also intends to refurbish its award-winning lounge at Brussels Airport, the Loft. Brussels Airlines has worked very hard to achieve a cost structure that allows the airline to be sustainably profitable, enabling us to reinvest in our company. The A320neo reduces our environmental footprint and offers a more pleasant experience for our passengers, and we're very happy to welcome more of these state-of-the-art aircraft to our fleet, comments Dorothea von Boxberg, CEO of Brussels Airlines. Well, it's always good to see more 320neos entering the market.
It certainly is, and Brussels Airlines has quite the livery as well. It does look very nice.
It's very spotty.
It's very eye-catching livery.
Very spotty, eye-catching, yes.
Well.
Oh, it has stopped raining. Just looked out the window. I thought it kept
Yes.
raining. No, it's stopped raining.
I can see little patches of blue sky and moody sunsets.
Yeah, moody sunsets,
yeah. Absolutely.
Matt, you've got the next story, and it's good news for any of our listeners who are infants.
To be honest, I thought it was excellent news. I misread that title, and now I'm a bit disappointed. But I'll explain that afterwards.
Right. Okay. All right. Here we go then. TravelTomorrow.com is the source for this particular story, and the headline is Jet2 becomes first UK airline with free infant flights. Revolutionising the British way of travelling with a family, Jet2 is the first UK airline to introduce a new policy allowing infants under the age of 2 to travel free of charge. Already renowned for its family-friendly approach, this move clearly reflects the airline's commitment to making travel more accessible for parents and their youngest companions. The announcement, made just as the summer holidays came to an end, applies to all Jet2.com flights across Europe, the Canary Islands and the Mediterranean. Families planning their next trip can now rest assured that the youngest travellers will be exempt from airfares. Naturally, a few conditions apply. Firstly, the young Globetrotters must be under 2 years old on the day of travel, and secondly, they must be accompanied by at least one adult on the same booking. In other words, you cannot send your toddler alone on a free weekend trip to visit their grandparents. I think we know where Andy's going to go with this. The benefits extend well beyond the complimentary seat. Families will also receive an additional 10 kilograms of baggage allowance for their baby on top of the standard 22 kilograms included with adult tickets. They can also take 2 baby-related items free of charge, such as a collapsible pushchair, buggy, car seat, booster seat, baby carrier or travel cot. No excess baggage fees will be charged for these items if they are placed in the aircraft hold where luggage is stored during the flight. Really? Thank goodness they told us that the luggage, where the luggage is stored during the flight. This represents a significant saving given Jet2's usual surcharge of £12 per kilo. Parents can also keep their pushchair with them right up to the aircraft door. Staff will then place it in the hold ready for collection after landing. As for the flight itself, families have flexibility the infants can travel on an adult's lap, or parents may purchase a separate seat and bring an approved car seat on board if they prefer. Until now, Jet2 only offered free travel for children under 2 when families booked a full Jet2 holidays package. However, the new policy, this means now benefits those, now extends to flight-only bookings. This means that families will no longer need to purchase a full family package to access the perk. This policy sets Jet2 apart from its competitors. British Airways charges 10% of the adult fare for infants, which, to be fair, is not bad, I suppose, while EasyJet and Ryanair impose a flat fee of £25. Jet2 is now the only UK airline to let babies fly for free to all its destinations. As a family-friendly airline and tour operator, we're always looking at how we can make the experience even better for families travelling with us, said Steve Heapy, CEO of Jet2. He added that by putting our customers first and allowing all children under 2 to travel for free, we are making travel even more accessible for millions of families. Other European airlines, such as Air France and Lufthansa, usually charge 10% of the adult fare for children under 2. American Airlines and most other US carriers do not charge infants on domestic flights, but apply the £10 rule, the 10% rule for international journeys. Andy.
Yes, I thought that said infant-free flights.
Yes. Oh, I see.
I thought fabulous.
Oh, right. Oh no, I thought
fabulous.
I thought you were just packing off the infants to the ground, hoping to pack them off to the grandparents for free.
Yep, that'd work. Flying crash. That'd be really
love
good.
That. Yeah. Unmanned.
Yep.
Can you imagine it?
Think of the mess at the end.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's got to deal with that, haven't they? Yeah.
Yes. But this is all very good news. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like the 10%. I suppose the 10% thing that could get sort of quite expensive. I mean, I quite like the way some of them would do it. To be fair to Ryanair, it was a £25 flat fee, so you weren't being expected to pay a full. Mind you, to be fair, you can get a full. I mean, I think when I went to Toulouse, I think it was £30 return as an adult. So yeah, this is definitely the. Do you think other carriers will follow suit?
Depends really. Jet2's market is the family holiday, isn't it?
Yeah,
That is their main market, whereas the other airlines it's not. So if they can get away with charging it, they will.
Fair. Yeah.
So, moving on to the next story from paddleyourown.canoe.com, which is something we're going to have to do when we go outside
I
later.
think so, yes, absolutely.
Headline: passenger assaults crew member and deploys emergency slide on a Boeing 787 taxiing for takeoff at Heathrow Airport. Always something you do. What a good passenger. An unruly passenger has been arrested after an allegedly assaulting a crew member and then activating the emergency evacuation slide as a Saudi Airlines aircraft was taxiing for departure last Thursday. Emergency services rushed to the side of the 787 Dreamliner on August the 28th after the pilots brought the aircraft to a halt on one of the Heathrow's busiest taxiways, causing some disruption to operations at Europe's busiest airport. Special firefighting air stairs were attached to the slide of the aircraft, and police boarded the aircraft to take the disrupted passenger into custody. The 33-year-old male suspect was also arrested on a slew of charges, including 1 count of endangering an aircraft, 2 counts of assault by beating, gee, blimey, and 1 count of damaging an aircraft, 1 count of behaving in a threatening and abusive or disorderly manner towards the airline crew. Under the Air Navigation Order of 2016, the maximum sentence for endangering an aircraft is 5 years imprisonment and an unlimited fine. Ooh. The maximum term of imprisonment was increased from 2 years back in 2003 due to concerns about a rise in air rage incidents. A spokesperson for the Metropolitan Police confirmed that the suspect had been released pending further inquiries. The incident occurred after Saudi flight SV120 from London Heathrow to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, had pushed back from the gate and was taxiing to the runway for takeoff. According to eyewitnesses, the suspect became irate, pushed crew members before lunging for the forward right-hand door and activating the emergency slide. Why the man became so enraged remains unclear. Perhaps he couldn't find his boarding pass. I don't know. His phone battery had run out of charge. Yes. Unlimited fine. I mean, I'd imagine he'll probably get banned from the airline.
Oh, yes, definitely.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I think, am I right in thinking, Andy, there's like a naughty list that goes around all the airlines? Sort of rough, is there kind of a naughty list?
I'm not going to comment on that one.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you'll be on Santa's naughty list anyway, so no presents for you this Christmas.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Naughty man. Right, Matt, you've got the next story, and this is one to listen to if you're heading away this year.
Indeed. ChronicleLive.co.uk is the source for this one, and the headline is British holiday makers risk being rejected from flight over unknown airport rule. British holidaymakers, particularly those with blue and burgundy passports, could have holidays ruined by a secret airport rule. Before even reaching the departure gate, travellers might face unexpected chaos due to an obscure airport security regulation. While most people fret about long security queues or strikes causing flight delays, it's your mobile phone that could potentially throw your entire journey off course. Travel experts from Wildpack American summer camps have issued a warning that a drained phone battery could leave you stranded, prevent you from boarding, or even result in your device being confiscated. In related news, British passport holders are being urged to take one crucial step before the 12th of October. I do hate these clickbait stories. They drive me absolutely potty. Travel specialist Jamie Fraser clarified that many travellers are unaware that the airport security now operates under stricter guidelines regarding electronic devices. If security personnel cannot switch on your phone to conduct necessary checks, they have the authority to deem the device or you a security risk. According to Yorkshire Live, a dead phone could mean you're denied boarding. If these gadgets don't function when requested, you won't be allowed to bring them on board the aircraft. Airport staff might demand you prove your device works by switching it on. If your device is damaged or completely drained and cannot be switched on when requested, you will be prohibited from bringing it on board the aircraft. Travel guidance on gov.uk states make sure your electronic devices are charged before you travel. If your device does not switch on when requested, you will not be allowed to take it onto the aircraft. While most travellers won't be required to demonstrate their devices are functioning correctly, airport security personnel may periodically conduct random inspections. Despite this regulation having existed for a considerable time, countless passengers remain unaware of its existence. Jamie Fraser remarks that while it might seem extreme, these regulations are in place for everyone's safety. A non-functioning device raises suspicion and can lead to significant delays and potential denial of boarding. In some cases, security might even confiscate the device for further inspection. He advises that travellers do guarantee them. He advises travellers to guarantee their mobile phone is completely charged prior to boarding the airport and to pack a charging cable.
Yes, this has got nothing to do with the colour of your passport.
No, I'm extremely confused. That's what I say. I hate these this particular website, the Chronicle Live thing, is an awful site for like clickbait. It's I would go so far as to say it's worse than the Daily Mirror.
This is not a secret rule. This rule's been around for a very long time.
Indeed.
Yeah. Again, the world we live in, sadly.
I mean, how often do you turn up at an airport with your phone battery dead?
Quite often, it's nearly on the edge of being dead.
That's an iPhone, though. That's why.
That's because I'm a very busy man, Carlos.
Yeah,
very busy
absolutely.
man.
Had to say. Right, moving on to the posh seats now. For those of you sitting in 1A, possibly, like Nev. And these seats, I must admit, the pictures look blooming nice for this, but this is Emirates, to be fair. Aviation2Z.com or 2Z.com, Emirates' new Boeing 777 class business class seats have no middle seats. There we go.
What?
Emirates Airlines has finally addressed one of the biggest complaints about its Boeing 777-300ER business class by retiring the outdated 232 cabin. The airline is now rolling out a 1-to-1 configuration across its fleet, ensuring direct aisle access for every passenger. This is a brilliant idea. The retrofit program, launched back in late 2024, has already been completed on 25 of the 120 Boeing 777-300ER aircraft. This change marks a long-awaited shift for Emirates, aligning its offering more closely with competitors like Qatar and Finnair. For years, Emirates 777 business class was seen as a weak spot in its otherwise premium-heavy fleet. The 232 layout left many passengers in the middle seat, which felt out of place when rivals were offering privacy-focused suites and fully flat beds. The new cabin fixes this by switching to a 1-to-1 arrangement with direct aisle access from every seat and a 78-inch lie-flat bed. While the product itself is based on a saffron design, first introduced back in 2008, Emirates has refreshed its finishes with a cream leather, darker wood accents, and larger 23-inch HD entertainment screens. The upgrade doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it solves some of the most pressing issues, personal space being one of them, comfort, ease of movement, mainly miles shared in his exclusive review. A travel blogger flew one of the newly configured 777-300s, operated from Dubai to Stansted. The aircraft, Alpha 6 Echo Papa uniform, is just under 9 years old. The business class cabin now seats 40 passengers across two sections, a smaller 3-row forward cabin and a larger 7-row cabin behind the galley. So every seat has aisle access, but the layout creates four distinct seat types. One is true window seats, A to K for maximum privacy. The aisle-aligned window seats, which is Bravo to Juliet, offering easier access. A couple of middle pairs, E and F, are best for those travelling together. And separate middle seats, so if you want to be away from everyone else, it's D and G for solo power travellers there. Now, I always thought the business class seats were okay, but now when you look at this, and I look back, and I think, yeah, that isn't, sitting in the middle, you were kind of interrupting the person next to you to get out into the aisle.
Emirates 777 business class seats, the old ones are awful. Really, really horrible. Especially the middle seat is not very nice. Is it the first class ones where they put the fake window in where you could... Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So this is nice. This is more aligned with like your likes of BA and Virgin now and stuff like that. I guess that's a premium economy seat there that you've shown them. There, which that's a new thing they've introduced recently as well, which looks really good.
It does look good, yeah. I've not spoke to anyone personally who's flown on the premium economy, but when you watch the videos online, Andy, it does look nice. I would like to, if I fly Emirates again in the future, sort of push the boat out and try the premium economy seats, because they do look good, really good.
Yeah, they do look very nice.
Andy, last story for you, and
yes.
Could this be a thing?
Well, it'll have to come someday. And again, this is from aviation.a2z.com. Airbus eyes completely new aircraft, the A360, but is it viable? Airbus has hinted at launching the A360, a next-generation narrow-body aircraft, during its recent Airbus summit. While aviation fans welcomed the teaser, concerns remain about whether the timing is right. The global production system is already struggling to meet demand for the A320neo and Boeing 737, and adding an all-new narrow-body could deepen supply issues, leaving airlines with fewer options when they need aircraft most. Airbus' early A360 concept introduces radical technologies such as an open-fan engine with a bypass ratio as high as 70-1, foldable wings inspired by the Boeing 777X, morphing control surfaces and a composite fuselage. These innovations promise efficiency gains of up to 25% compared to current turbofans. The challenge is timing. According to aviation analyst Kobe explains, the industry's biggest pain point is production stability, not radical disruption. Both Airbus and Boeing are battling large backlogs with no expectation of clearing them before the 2030s. Launching an all-new single-aisle jet now would stretch suppliers even further, creating a supply crunch for airlines. Boeing has little choice but to retire the 737 family. Its design limits are well known and efficiency improvements have hit a ceiling. Airbus, however, still has flexibility. The A320neo remains modern with fly-by-wire systems and the capability to handle larger engines. Instead of a clean sheet design, Airbus could introduce an A320X refresh. Less risky, faster market and cheaper to integrate into existing assembly lines. While not as advanced as Boeing's rumoured 797, it could deliver reliability and affordability at scale, a strong selling point for airlines struggling with delayed deliveries. Kobe suggested Airbus consider stretching the A320 platform into a new A322 model, avoiding the compromises of the Boeing's MAX 10. At the same time, the Airbus A220 family is filling the lower end of the single-aisle market. A proposed A220-500 variant would compete directly with smaller narrow-bodies, giving Airbus full coverage across short and medium-haul markets. The dual-line approach, the A220 plus the A320 derivatives, offers stability, efficiency and reduced production risk while still satisfying demand across multiple airline segments. Now, an A320X refresh, unless you're going to just refresh the engines again, then that is a full... what's happened to the Plane Talking UK feed? Are we still here, Matt?
Are we still here? Yeah, we're still here as far as I'm aware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still there.
Frozen on the screen. Yes, unless it's just engines, then if the second you start changing avionics, flight deck, stuff like that, that's a full new certificate required for the airframe. So a full redesign sounds like a far better option. The suggestion of making an A322 model, again, I think it's stretched to the max with the A321 of what the wing is capable of. Even the wing on the 321 is different to the 320, 319, 318 family. It's got slotted flaps instead of single piece and stuff like that. So I think that would require a new wing. So the only real option going forward, and it has to happen sometime, this aircraft design is as old as me. It's like 40 years, coming up 40 years old. It's time for a clean sheet. And now's the time to design it and start putting things in place for another 10, 15 years' time, because there's still plenty of life left in the current 320 with the Neo engines, in my opinion.
And I think 360 sounds better than 322.
Well, the 322 is just a stretch version. It's just making it longer than the same. He's trying to say that make a longer version again.
I definitely think A360 sounds quite good.
It does. Sounds nice.
Yeah, quite sounds nice. Yeah. And it's got a nice ring to it. It would be nice to see a completely new sheet aircraft, I think, from Boeing, Andy.
Boeing or Airbus?
Airbus.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to see a complete, clean sheet design. But
it will come.
I mean, it's definitely short haul they need. I think the long haul side of things, I think, is fairly well made up with the 330.
Yeah, it's the short. It's the short to medium haul sectors. These long, narrow margin flights where you don't need the capacity of a 330 or a 350. Then definitely that's where the market is now.
Well, fingers crossed we'll see something appear soon in the... I'm just being passed a drink here. It's non-alcoholic, I will say. Just saying. Thank you for that. Right, moving on. Next part of the show. It's the popular part of the show, Dirk's favourite part of the show, definitely. And it's our retro airline ad of the week. This week, we are heading back not too far. We're not going back to the 60s or 70s this week, but we're going back to 1984 and to an airline that had a very nice livery.
Sometimes flying those bargain airlines can be expensive.
That'll be $3
A bag. Like when your luggage has to pay its own way, or when you have to go outside to get inside the plane, or when even coffee costs extra.
That'll be 50 cents, please.
But when you fly Piedmont, you won't get soaked by the airfare or the rain. No unexpected costs, no surprises.
Please.
Piedmont Airlines, where a bargain is a bargain.
I did like the Piedmont livery. 50 cents for a coffee.
Can you imagine?
Where do you keep finding these adverts?
I know. I keep trawling them up, Andy, from the depths of online. But do you remember Piedmont, Andy?
Well, it's an American airline, isn't it?
I don't remember it, but then I'm not the right person to yeah, I wouldn't get that.
I would love it if you came out with a huge spiel about Piedmont Airlines, Matt. It would be like,
sorry,
whoa,
dear, never gonna happen. Essentially, never gonna happen.
So Piedmont Airlines apparently was a regional airline headquartered at the Salisbury Regional Airport in Wicomico County, Maryland, near the city of Salisbury. The airline wholly owned subsidiary of the American Airlines Group and is paid. It's paid by fellow group member American Airlines staff to operate and maintain aircraft used on American Eagle flights. Piedmont also provides ground handling and customer services for airports in the northeastern and western United States. So there we go.
There you go.
Founded back in 1961.
Ooh.
Yeah. There we go. Piedmont Airlines. Thanks for that. 1984. That's a good year, that was. Right. Up next, it's another instalment from our roving reporter at Oshkosh, Captain Al. And this week, imagine an electric drone mixed with a fixed-wing plane that is the concept behind a new two-seater aircraft being developed by startup company Skyfly. This aircraft, called AXE, promises the flexibility of a helicopter, but without the cost noise pollution or carbon emissions. It's a vertical capable aircraft or electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, eVTOL, which means it can take off like a helicopter. It also has 2 fixed wings that allows it to take off and land from a runway. The company claims the Axe has a top speed of 100 miles an hour and can carry up to 172 kilograms, approximately the weight of 2 13.5-stone adults. It has a range of 100 miles and about the distance from Oxford to the Isle of Wight. So, Captain Al speaks with founder and CEO of Skyfly, Michael Thompson, about this concept.
Okay, so welcome back to Oshkosh Adventure 2025, and you find me with a fantastic looking aeroplane and an equally fantastically interesting owner and CEO of the company, if I remember rightly, Michael Thompson. So Michael, it's very sultry here today, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but would you be so kind as to take us through the aeroplane?
Yeah, sure. Shall we walk around?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the Axe. It's a 2-seat electric vertically capable aircraft. So when I say vertically capable, it can do both the vertical takeoff and landing and also a conventional runway takeoff thanks to these lovely wings. So we've got a canard which has the elevator on the front, and the main wing which has ailerons. So the important thing to note here is that we've designed this aircraft to be aerodynamically stable, so it can glide. It's got a 6-to-1 glide ratio. All the control surfaces, so if you look at the elevator there, it's all mechanically controlled, and then ailerons on the rear plane there. It's all mechanically controlled, it's not fly-by-wire, and again, we wanted something that in the event of a power failure, you could glide to land. So that's pretty much our biggest sort of USP when you look at us compared to other sort of eVTOL concepts, etc. The other very important thing to note is the fixed angle propellers. So we've got no rotating mechanism in the sort of propulsion unit. So this saves a lot of weight, complexity, cost, but you still get the same benefit of a tilt rotor, except we're tilting the whole fuselage. So in order to enter the hover, essentially what happens is the front 2 motors will have a higher RPM, so it lifts the nose up. So these propellers go from a 45-degree angle to horizontal. So the nose pitches up, the aircraft will go to whatever desired height, and then you transition into forward flight, build up airspeed to around 45-50 knots, and then you're wingborne again, and then you're flying as a conventional fixed-wing aircraft. So yeah, that's, I guess, the main points. I get on the propulsion system front, we've got 8 electric motors, so on each corner there's actually 2 motors in each housing. That's for redundancy. We've got 2 inverters in the wings, again for redundancy. Each corner has 4 separate battery modules, so that's again for redundancy. The flight controller has 3 separate cores, so they arbitrate between each other. If there's a failure in one core, the other ones take over. So basically we've designed this thing to be as safe as possible, and we've taken all the best bits of the new technology coming from UAVs, so that's the flight control side, and using distributed electric propulsion to do the hovering, but then used all the amazing conventional controls to make it a safe and controllable aircraft in forward flight.
Fantastic. So the role of the aircraft, obviously for private ownership, for fun, are there any plans or applications where you could see it in a semi-quasi-commercial role?
So we're focused on personal mobility, so getting you from A to B quickly. We're not looking at the commercial sector for air taxis. We don't think it's mature enough yet. We want to focus on a market that exists now, which is private pilots, light sport pilots. We've also got an unmanned version of this. So the unmanned version, again, there's defence applications, logistical applications, so we can carry up to 200 kilos of payload inside the cockpit. So we're looking at various different markets for our products. So it's sort of dual use in that aspect. And we're very much technology agnostic. So the flight controller that's in the aircraft, we use the same flight controller for piloted flight as well as unmanned. The only difference between our unmanned configuration is that these control surfaces will be servo-driven rather than mechanically controlled.
Okay, that's fantastic. Now, you, like me, have a non-local accent. So, would you like to tell me a little bit about the company and how you come to be here this week?
Sure. So we're based in Oxfordshire, just outside of Banbury. I'm originally from Kent, but the company's been going for around 6 years. So in those 6 years, we started off with sort of third scale demonstrators, lots of design iterations over those years. Then we finally locked down the design, went into full-scale tooling production, and then last year we built this our first airframe, serial number 1. So we're currently building the next airframe, which will be going through the type certification process, but we're not doing commercial certification. We're going for a permit to fly in the UK with the CAA. And then in the US, a light sport category aircraft.
Okay, so I'm not asking for the intimate details of the balance sheet, but is there a sort of crowdfunding mechanism, or is this purely self-sponsored financially, or what? Because developing aeroplanes isn't cheap, is it?
It isn't. I mean, we've got an amazing team who have put their own time, energy, money into it, but we've raised money externally as well. So we are actually currently doing a Series A round to take us from where we are now to production, essentially, get us through the final stages of certification into production. So that's a fundraiser we're currently doing. But yeah, to date we've raised money from business angels, so we've got some amazing investors, and they not only contribute cash, but they contribute an amazing resource. So we've had facilities, engineering capabilities offered to us as part of the investor offering. So we've been really lucky, and I mean, our whole, my job as a CEO is managing that cash, and we've got an amazing team that's very nimble. We're not trying to scale up too quickly, so we've managed to make our money last. And yeah, we've got this thing flying now. We've got lots of hours under our belt. We've proven that it's a very controllable, stable aircraft in forward flight and in the hover. So the next stage is finishing off the flight testing and getting into production and delivering this aircraft to people all around the world. And the reason we're at Oshkosh, back to your original point, a lot of our customers are in the US. It's 70%-ish of all our customers so far. We've sold 43 aircraft so far, and majority of the US. So we're here to promote that US sales.
Fantastic. So we have a fairly good pedigree in the UK with regards to aviation and aeronautics. So it's really quite nice as a Brit to be here and to come across a British company that, you know, are, I don't mean pushing the boundaries in a bad way, but creating something that's a little different, something exciting, something that's new. So I wish you absolutely the very best successes, and it's great to see you. If some of the viewers want to know a little bit more about the aeroplane and the company, this is your opportunity to remember the website.
Sure. The website is skyfly.aero, www.skyfly.aero, SKYFLY. And we've got Instagram, which is skyfly.aero as well.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I've really enjoyed looking at the aeroplane, and as I said, I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Al.
What an interesting little aircraft.
You took the words out of my mouth, Matt.
Yes,
very
indeed.
interesting.
A very interesting little aircraft. Yes. I'm not going to lie, I do have some nervous concerns.
Yeah, Jason says in the chat room, a great design, but the range is not good enough. That is the thing with electrically powered. Even cars, you know, the range is just not awesome.
And I wonder how long it takes to recharge it.
Yeah.
And do you have to buy a specific charging unit to charge said device, or can you do it off the, you know?
These are all questions. You'll have to get him on the show, Carlos, to answer all these questions.
Darren says electric plane at Riyadh this year had a range of 20 minutes. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's not.
I wouldn't even get halfway to work.
Well, you probably would, because you would do it.
It's going to be all
less,
fast. Yeah. It's going faster than 30 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah. To be fair, yeah. The countryside roads around here. Yeah. Darren Smith says also there are no charges at 3,000 feet.
No, there
which
aren't.
Is true.
That is a potential problem.
And that thing doesn't look like it will glide very well.
No.
But yes, interesting.
Thanks for that, Al. And I did get a chance to thank Al personally on Saturday when we saw him at the meetup. And he had fun at Oshkosh. Safe to say, he enjoyed himself. So
I bet.
Yes, thank you, Al, again for that. Much appreciated. Right, it's time for the grey part of the show. Another favourite part, not only of Nev's, but also of Al, because he is obviously one of our aficionados of all things grey, as you know. So, should we do some grey?
Blast up, bogeys 13550, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. 100 boogie.
So the first story comes from flightglobal.com this week in the military segment, and this is one that Jenny would love, actually, this one. Apparently, US Air Force pilots to train at an Italian flight school in a historic first. So US Air Force pilots will, for the first time, be trained by a foreign school following a landmark agreement between the service and its Italian counterpart. Signed on the 22nd of August, the pact will see US Air Force flight crew receive instruction at the International Flight Training School in Dimin. Oh, it's another one of those, and a base in Sardinia. An additional cohort of 10 students will be enrolled in the IFTS and will undertake a training program that has specifically been developed by the two air forces. Flying the Leonardo T-346 Alpha, the local designation for the M346 lead-in trainer fighter trainer, students will gain their military pilot's license in around 9 months, the Italian Air Force says. Describing the agreement as a historic turning point, the Italian Air Force says it's the first time in the history of the American military aviation that the US Air Force has chosen a foreign school in a NATO country to train its pilots. In addition to a fleet of 22 T-346 Alphas, the IFTS also boasts an advanced ground-based training system and extensive campus facilities. Previous nations have signed up to the IFTS. They include Austria, Canada, Germany, Japan, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Sweden, and the UK. So there we go. If you fancy joining the Royal Air Force, you could be trained in Italy.
I can think of worse places to learn to fly than Sardinia. Beautiful. Very nice.
It's a good idea. Do you find that, Andy, in your neck of the woods, as in commercial aviation side, that a lot of training is done in Europe as opposed to being in the UK?
I know some of the sim session stuff doesn't necessarily happen here, does it? Quite often go abroad for that.
And a lot of basic training where it's in actual aircraft, a lot of it's done in places that have far nicer climates and conditions to allow more flying to take place. I learned to fly in New Zealand. I spent a year there. It's quite a similar climate to here, with a little bit more fair weather, I'd say. But yeah, there's a lot of training schools out in Arizona, south of Spain as well, sort of around Jerez. There's a few schools down there that do a lot of training as well, again, due to the good weather all year round.
Makes sense, I suppose. The good weather, that's one of the main things. When you learn to fly, it's one of the things that you struggle with here in the UK is having decent weather to learn to fly, because you always end up having the bad days. Yeah,
because you need to, when you learn to fly, it has to be done visually to begin with before you move on to your instrument rating, which obviously allows you to fly in poor weather. So yeah, weather in this country is not the best. Unless you did it this summer, it's been beautiful.
It has been. Yeah, anyone who learned to fly this summer, you must have literally done your license in the summertime. Actually completed it. Yeah, it would have been good this year. Right, Andy, next one up for you. Good news for Jonathan Warner. He'll be excited about this with this new aircraft coming online.
Yes, this is from TWZ.com, and the US Air Force is hopeful second B-21 Raider stealth bomber will fly before year end. The US Air Force is hoping to see a second pre-production B-21 Raider stealth bomber take to the skies before the end of the year. The service also says it has conducted 4 more flight tests of the AGM-181 Alpha long-range standoff, that's LRSO cruise missile, which will be a key nuclear weapon for the B-21 so far this year. Air Force Lieutenant General Andrew Gabara, Deputy Chief of Staff for Strategic Deterrence and Nuclear Integration. I always love, they always have these huge titles for these places and positions, provided updates on the B-21 programme and other topics today during a virtual talk hosted by the Air and Space Force Association hosted by the Air and Space Forces Association's Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies. So this is an event-based process based on the test team, the contractor, and the program office. I believe it's the first flight I believe it, as in the first flight of the second B-21, will happen by the end of the year, but we're not going to ever give them an artificial date that they have to make if it doesn't bring the test program along to where they need to be, he said. We're going to proceed as we can, efficiently, effectively, and with a sense of urgency, but we're also going to be event-based. Okay? That's really been the secret sauce to the B-21 right now, is no undue pressure. Let them do what they're doing and they'll get us the world's best aircraft, he added. In July, Air Force General Thomas Bucera, head of the Air Force Global Strike Command, had told Air and Space Forces magazine that the second B-21 could take the skies shortly. The service had previously told that outlet that its goal was for 2 B-21s to be flying in 2026. The first of 6 pre-production B-21s made its maiden flight in November 23, and as of September 24, the bomber was said to be flying around 2 sorties every week from Edwards Air Force Base in California in support of ongoing testing. There we go. That will make Jonathan happy.
Yeah.
It does look so cool, the B-21. I didn't get a chance to put a picture in the folder, Matt, for this, but when you look at the B-21, it almost looks like a swallow. You know, the bird, the actual bird, the swallow. It's so cool to look at. Really, really is cool to look at, the B-21. And hopefully they'll fly some of these over, possibly into Fairford, so Mr. Warner can get some good pictures of these. But yeah, cool looking aircraft, that's for sure. Right. Going to start to wrap things up now, as I'm going to be heading off and potentially cracking open a bottle of vino de Plonco, celebrating 14 years of being married to Gemma today. Yes, I know, it's exciting. 14 years ago today that our very own Matt Smith was our master of ceremonies.
Don't blame me for that.
Oh, no. And it's
14
one of the
years, your poor wife.
It's one of the first times in mine and Matt's friendship career that I ever heard Matt say my name.
I know. He hated every second of it, me calling him Carl.
Oh my word! So strange. Honestly, it's weird. It's so strange.
Yeah. Well, I figured like Mum and stuff would not have been very happy if.
No. No, but I'd just like to say a big thank you to my wife Gemma for putting up with me for 14 years. Bless her. Yeah. Well, 14 plus years it's been actually. I shall actually try, if I can, Matt. I'm going to ping you a picture across. I don't know whether you'll have have the tech handy to pop this up on the screen, just for the benefit of our glorious listeners. There we go. We'll pop those two there. There we go.
Viewers.
Yeah.
Oh, listeners and viewers, sorry. Yeah, if you're listening to this as an audio podcast.
I can say a picture isn't going to work fantastically well. It has to be.
Not fantastically well, no.
Okay, bear with. You've, via WhatsApp. It would have been easier if you to just drop them in the NAS drive, by the way, but yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not connected to the on my phone.
Okay, all right. Yeah, bear with.
Otherwise, I would have done. I would have done.
Yes. Chat amongst yourselves.
And literally, the church we got married at, and I know for the benefit of you the audio listeners will not appreciate this, but the church that we got married for is literally 200 yards down the road there.
From the new house, of course.
From the new house where we are. It's awesome, honestly. And it was a hot day. If Matt can remember the day we got married, me and Gemma, it was an incredibly hot day. And you'll be proud of us, Andy, because we had our arrival drinks at the venue were real ale, and we had Pimm's.
Oh, very nice. Very classy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, and cider as well as an offshoot.
Of course.
You had to take the edge off it, didn't you?
Yeah. No, actually, I think it was Ghost Ship we had. Actually, pints of Ghost Ship.
Ghost Ship didn't exist
choice.
then. I'm sure it was Ghost Ship.
No, Ghost Ship didn't exist then, so it would have been something else, I'm afraid.
Darren Smith says, Carlos, give her your TriStar model, True Love.
Yeah.
Trust me, Darren, every time she walks in this room, she's surrounded by TriStar pictures. There we go. I mean, I haven't aged a bit.
Sure. Gemma hasn't. She looks exactly the same.
No, Gemma looks exactly the same, to be fair. Yeah.
I think she, as I say, bless her, she still fitted into her wedding dress, didn't she, to be fair, when she... it was a bit baggy.
Before we moved to the new house, Gemma tried on the dress from that day. Yeah, it's very strange, honestly.
It is.
Spiky hair. Darren Smith says, spiky hair.
I know.
Yes, I know, spiky hair.
I know. I'm trying to remember, where was it Bateman's Barn, the actual reception?
It was, Bateman's Barn, South Elmham, yeah. So yes, celebrating 14 years today.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed.
Indeed, yeah. I'm not taking this picture off, by the way. This is.
Oh no! Come back to the cameras now.
No.
I've still got the suit as well. The tux. I've still got the tux. Yeah, I've still got I've still got that. And actually, before we move on, I don't know if you can remember, Matt, what our first dance song was at the wedding.
Of course, I can't remember what your first dance.
No, because he can't.
Firestarter by Prodigy. Well, what was it?
Why not?
That came on later in the evening. It was actually Frank Sinatra, Come Fly With Me.
Oh, yeah, you made me rehearse something because you and I had to do a duet-y thing.
Oh, we did, early in the evening,
I remember that now. Yeah. Oh, I'd sort of blotted it out because it was like some kind of nightmare. But did we do Me and My Shadow or something weird like that?
We did, Me and My... Yes, we did,
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
That was an evening, honestly.
That was an evening, to be fair.
Oh, dear. Right. Moving back to the show, quick round robin then is what we're all up to next week. Andy, what are you up to in the coming week? And obviously you've got some flights going on, which is also
yes. Awesome. The insanity of my schedule continues. So I'm flying tomorrow, flying the day after. I'm working in the simulator on Saturday. A couple of days off. The next Wednesday, I am off to Italy. I'm in Italy till Sunday, and then I fly back to where I am now on Sunday, and then I'm here till Thursday. I'm not around for the next 2 weeks, and then I go to Silverstone, then I come back here, and I think I'll finally return home in 21 days' time.
Blimey.
Goodness.
Life's a little bit crazy right now. I'm all over the place, lots to do, lots happening.
Oh.
But then I do get 2 weeks at home, which will be
that's
very
good.
nice.
But when you come back, though, in a few weeks' time, at least you'll have some stories to tell us of your flight.
Yes, I'll be able to tell you about my 8 flights that I've done in that time, yes.
Goodness.
Look forward to that.
It's the most amount of flights all year, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I barely fly at all these days.
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? Anything exciting going on in the world of Smith, apart from, obviously... me taking over from you on Saturday on the radio.
Well, yes, of course, that's obviously the highlight of everyone's week, of course. It was sort of like a change of plans, as you know, Carlos. The week has changed a little bit from what was originally planned, let's put it that way.
Yes, it certainly has. And, yes, give her a big hug from me, Mr. Smith.
Will do.
Good man. What am I doing the weekend? Obviously, I'm on the radio tomorrow morning. And then I'm on the radio. Yeah. Then I'm on the radio Friday evening.
Oh, are you?
And then I'm on the radio. Yes, I'm doing the 80s Obsession Friday night.
Because it's somebody else's anniversary, isn't it? That's right.
It is James's anniversary. Yeah. So I'm covering James's show at the 80s Obsession show on Friday evening.
That's a good show, by the way. If you love your 80s music, make sure you're tuned in.
Yes, and then I'll be back on my show Saturday, all being well.
Absolutely.
Which is good. Looking forward to that. And other than that, we're going to have this weekend, we're having a quiet weekend. We're having our meal on Saturday together
Nice.
to celebrate our wedding anniversary. So we're off for a meal Saturday evening, so that'll be nice. But yeah, going to have a relaxing time this weekend because it's been a busy old weekend. But thanks again to everyone who came to the meetup last weekend. It was so good to see you all. And Tanya, I'm sure you had an awesome flight on the 350 as well. So that's it. We're going to wrap up the show. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in this evening. Thanks to all the YouTube chat room people who've tuned in this week to the show, watching us live. Don't forget, if you want to find out more about us, we are on Facebook, X, Instagram and LinkedIn. Just search for Plane Talking UK. You can email the show. It's podcast@planetalkinguk.com. The WhatsApp number comes straight through to this phone here in my hand. It's +44 7446 975 214. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel as well? Make sure you get notifications when we go live, and you can also shape the conversation of the show and join our awesome people in the chat room here, our family members in the chat room. Don't forget the website, allaws.planetalkinguk.com. Fingers crossed we're going to have a big, massive update on the website soon, so it all looks nice and shiny. Fingers crossed for that. Hopefully, I think, Matt, you're working in the background with John on the website, I think, aren't you?
Hopefully, yes.
Getting things like that. So, yes, check out there. All the links on there to find out more about us, and also the store on there where you can grab a T-shirt and the mugs as well on there if you fancy drinking your tea or coffee out of something a little bit more upmarket. Right, Bill says, what time is your afternoon show tomorrow? I'm on the morning, Bill. I'm on at 9 a.m. till 12 p.m.
Correct.
UK time tomorrow.
Well done.
And then
I'm pleased to hear that. Yeah.
And then again on Friday night, which is 6 till 9.
6 till 9. Yeah, that's correct.
6 till 9.
Yeah,
6 p.m. till 9 p.m. for the 80s show.
Indeed.
Right, that's it for episode 567 of the show. Thanks to Andy for joining us tonight from his glorious palatial mansion hotel studio there.
He's what now?
It's not market. I think he's in a Hilton. You know what Andy's like. He's going to say something different.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah, he's saying nothing there. Top of the range for him is a massive mansion suite. Thanks to Matt, as always, for pushing all the right buttons and pulling the sliders and faders and stuff like that. And thank you to you for tuning in to the show this evening. Have a great rest of the week, whatever you're up to. And as you're off for a few weeks, Andy, I'll let you say goodbye to everyone.
It's been a pleasure to see you all, and take care, and I'll see you all in a few weeks. Bye-bye.
There you are.
There we go. Well, that was fun.
Marvelous.
It was.
That's fun. Yes, hopefully it'll be such a rush next week. It was a mad rush this week. Delayed getting home a bit because of the roads were slightly awful. But it seems to have stopped now, Matt. I think
It does, yeah.
I think it stopped.
Welcome to autumn.
Yeah. Temperature's definitely changed. It was reading 15 degrees Celsius in the car on the way home this evening.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I am going to pack my shorts next week, though, because it's going to be 24, 25 down in Milano.
God, it's all right for some, you know.
And the hotel does have a pool on the roof.
Does it now?
Matt, do you fancy a good trip out somewhere?
You got to relax at some point while you're working, you know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I'm clearly in the wrong job.
Aren't we all? This week's winner of Top Crown at the end of the show was Captain Cruise with the Crown number 1. Tanya was in at number 2. Dirk was in at number 3. Darren was in at number 4. Richard Adams in at number 5. Jason at number 6. Mashers at 7. John Main.
That's where you need the bullseye music.
And Sturman's at number 9. And at number 10 is David Cummings. There we go. So well done to the captain for winning Top Crown this week.
There it is. In one.
Anyway, you could have won a speedboat, which you need today if you're living in East Anglia.
Good point, well made.
Having friends and family round, use this beautiful food trolley to display your food.
God, can you remember that?
Hostess trolley, please.
Hostess trolley,
Hostess trolley, that's it.
Good Lord, standards, please.
Waking up early, then you need this coffee machine, this timer.
And personally, I've always felt for the people who want a speedboat and they live in a high-rise block of flats in Birmingham.
A cheers for all the family with this 24-piece crystal cut glass set.
The crystal cut glass set.
Yeah, but they were the prizes, weren't they? That was the thing.
They were, yeah.
That was the thing. Yeah.
The one that always got me as well when they won a kitchen. So how do you split that between two of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true. Oh no, carry on.
You'll be the envy of all your neighbours with this 23-inch CRT TV.
Not even that big, like 12-inch.
I could say, 14, please. It was all about
14-inch colour TV.
Yeah.
You'll beat them all with this Betamax video player.
You'll be the envy of all of your friends with this Mark I Ford Fiesta.
Something for all the kids and adults. It's a Hornby train set.
Hey, absolutely. And Bully's
Don't go
special
too fast.
prize.
Don't go too fast round that corner. It's the Scale Electric set. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll turn the music on.
Right, okay. We better say goodbye to these lovely people before we get a copyright infringement on YouTube for playing the Bullseye theme. Right. Thanks, everyone in the chat room, as always. And have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. And say goodbye, Matt.
Sure. And I it's frozen. One moment. Yeah. Goodbye, Matt.